I bet they have before.
And it is the final episode of this session of Poker Time.
It's been quite a session.
Oh man, we've seen a lot of whack action, and something else that's whack is we are joined in the booth by guest commentator and vlogger Matthew Vaughan. Welcome to the show, Matthew, our first guest commentator ever.
I don't know what he's talking about. I just came in off the street looking for a free meal, and they handed me a microphone instead.
Well, that's not going to satiate you, but you're going to get to learn about these players, which might be good because Matt's going to be on Poker Time in the near future.
That's true. He's coming to an episode near you.
Timmer here is opening the 8-9 suited, feeling a little good because earlier on he'd been pretty tight, but he's been winning a lot.
I mean, he went all the way down to $355. As you can see, he's up a fair amount now. It feels good that you just hanging on to that one bullet buy-in, and he's really grown
Queen?
it.
Did I just see somebody fold?
I saw that too. I think could it have been from the big blind.
Matt, did somebody just fold King Queen?
I don't know.
I think,
but if they
so.
did, I'm going to be upset about
Matt,
it.
pay some fucking attention.
Why did we give him a microphone?
This is what happens when you hire off the street.
Hire? Who's getting paid?
I'm out of here.
You want the over and under on 4?
Well, we're gonna see. Is Timmer playing this one too?
No,
he hasn't looked yet. Okay.
So that's a 9.
Timmer is playing. Okay.
How can you be so wrong so often?
It's it's a skill, buddy. Ken with kings.
I think 5.5.
Yes, he can. It's gonna be a lot of that.
You shouldn't do that.
He's correct. I think it's 4.
You think it's exactly 4? Yeah. Have a tattoo?
Oh boy.
Well, Dan doesn't have any chips here, so Dan's
That's
been having
true.
the worst session in Poker Time history so far. He's
Yes.
down $7,000.
Yep. And he does 3-bet. I like his chances to get some of that back right now.
He's going to be
looking
about
pretty good.
He's going to be about 80% to,
Probably
win
85 even.
$500, and he's going to wish that he bought in for more.
Yeah,
This is going to be one of those ones where you feel like you got unlucky by being short stacked when you got the aces against the kings.
Dan gets exactly what he's been dreaming of, though. At least he gets the 4-bet instead of the insta-fold.
He could flat for deception.
But you're right. This is like the problem with not topping up is Dan can only get a $500 double up now instead of like at least a $1,000 double up. Of course, he still has to hold and win.
If the session has been any indication of how this is going to go, Dan will lose this hand.
King on the flop, king on the turn. Oh! No!
Life level unlocked. Okay.
Interestingly, he would have lost to the threes of wheel as well.
Yeah. Dan
That's
looks
a
like
good
he's
point, Matt.
I had pocket 3.
I'm paying attention.
Dan looks like he's finally
He has aces and comes
throwing in the old hat
That's
here.
$7,500 down the drain, so I think that's
Yeah.
a good time to call it
Me
quits.
too. He's run bad in every way possible.
He maybe made one mistake. Mostly it's just been terrible run bed.
Yeah, he got a little tilty at one point. It looked like he was playing a lot of hands, and maybe it cost him, I don't know, $700. But since he's down 7,500, yeah, I'm with you.
I'll take that mistake ratio most days.
Yeah.
Wait, Ken, do you have a
You
tattoo?
didn't
Flips
do
it, it says
that,
crack
Rose. I would have
numbers.
stayed
I mean,
up like 3
on that.
Yeah.
This is a very good split screen of
Yeah.
Wonka?
you know
can
the
get
empty
to-
chair. It's very sad.
It is a little bit sad.
Thank you for appreciating this split screen, Matt.
It
Not
is
enough people
nice.
do.
It is nice. No, it adds a lot.
It says
Especially
something.
when there's nobody in the chair.
Yeah.
You know? It's like a continuing storyline.
Okay, there's
Here's
no
Ken
back,
with
but
queens.
Wow. Back
Just
to back.
Rafi does not. I'm guessing
I
Brittany
think
does
Joseph
not.
has one.
We go with a very nice Jack 10.
It's on his back.
Oh, excuse me.
I think Tim's got a tattoo.
That's pretty good guess, yeah.
It's about as easy as a call as it gets.
Yeah, he's getting there.
I think they're betting on how many players have tattoos at the
Could be
table.
6.
Well, we're already up to 5.
Rafi's going to
But who's betting? Because like, let's say you have one.
I
You,
think
you could say you
Oh, guys.
don't have one.
Guys, Timmer has aces.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Ken just ran kings into aces, but won. Now he's running potentially queens into aces here.
He's gonna win. He's the destroyer of worlds.
Hey,
Big
Matt watches.
Nice job. Big 3-bet from Timmer. They are... Look
I
at this.
would-
They are 3.1K effective
And
here.
is that a 4-bet? I think I would prefer just a call
It's
from
a
Ken.
4-bet to 525.
He raised under the gun on the big blind, who's been tight. This is a call, right? This is not a 4-bet.
Yeah, when
I
you
agree.
face a 3-bet, especially of that size, there's really no need to 4-bet because you put yourself in a terrible spot if you get 5-bet. I guess you could
Whoa.
just fold. Whoa.
He just went all in for 3.6. Oh, man. It's 3.1K effective. This is a huge shove.
I mean, now Ken should just pretty easily fold, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Timmer especially is a guy who's not going to put in, maybe without aces here. He might only have aces and
Yeah.
play it this way.
I think it's really possible. I think most players would only have aces here. This is such a crazy big shove.
Ken, just let it go, man.
Feels like he should. Okay,
Oh,
it's okay to
no.
think about
oh,
it.
No,
That
he
just-
puts in a time extension.
At least
card.
it's okay to think
the
about
session
it.
is only got about 50 minutes left, so he's not going to need all those time extension cards. He's burning one. He calls!
Oh my goodness.
Is he going to get super lucky again? This is a massive pot. Look at this, 6.4.
This is one of the biggest pots in our history.
Oh,
Nope,
no,
not
that's
going to get
gonna
lucky
make it
this
tough.
time.
Not
That's-
winning this one.
And Timmer is now, he was down to $355. He's up to $6.4 thousand, guys.
This is by far the biggest come up in Poker Time history. As Jonathan is mentioning, in episode 1, Timmer was at $355, and he never topped up. Now look at him. Look at this guy, Matt. Have you ever done that?
I have never done anything even remotely close to that. I think one time in a tournament I had a couple of big blinds and got up to, like 30. That felt pretty good.
Yeah.
But never anything quite like this. Although, to be fair, I don't think I've probably ever let myself dwindle to 35 big blinds in a cash game in the first place.
Right. That's the step one. That's
Yeah.
difficult to do.
I just can't believe that Ken found a call there with queens, I got to say. I mean, I really, really thought he'd be able to get away from it there.
He was supposed to lose about that much money in the last 10 anyway. If Dan didn't show up with aces there, Wheel was probably going to get all of a full double with the threes on that pretty clean flop against Ken.
I mean, Ken would have, of course, flopped the set
Oh, never mind.
and gotten all the money of
Forget
wheels,
everything
but-
I said.
Yeah, but I hear what you're saying.
He got unlucky that
Yeah.
Dan had aces. Never mind.
Yeah.
And of course, based on chaos theory, he then wouldn't have gotten queens against aces. So
It's
Dan buying in for 500 ruined Ken's life.
This is really...
I think it's just one of those situations where you kind of get tunnel vision to the hand and how good it is. You kind of have these plans, right? You know, like how it's gonna go. Like, I got queens. I got raised. This is great. And then suddenly you're sticking in $3,500 with 20% chance of winning.
Yeah, that would be okay if it was like a 25-50 game, but it is a 5-10 game, and that equates to 350 big blinds. And
This
that's
is-
generally
this is quite
problematic
a-
when you're under the gun and the big blind three bets you.
That's a painful, painful loss.
Look at all that money. Look at that.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the amount of time it takes just to stack that, count it, stack it, and push it over is
Wow.
impressive.
Well, we just saw two huge hands against each other back to back. We saw aces versus kings and queens versus aces. What's next, guys? There's nothing left.
And
I don't
somehow
know,
we
we're-
actually had something to analyze in this
Yeah.
one, at least. The other one was
That's
pretty
true.
straightforward. But
That's true.
I mean, at this point, we're just running players out of the game. We'll be lucky if there's anybody left in a couple hands.
I think Tim is coming back. I mean, Ken has said he was coming back. He's
Oh,
just getting more money. getting
Timmer
more
is not
chips.
the only guy who's up a bunch because we've had other casualties in this game. So we are set up for potential big conflicts in this last hour
I mean,
here.
Wonka's got like 4.5K in front of him. Timmer's got 6.5K in front of him. I think they're the two big stacks. If somehow, some way, they could get involved in a big pot, someone could be the biggest winner in Poker Time history. I mean, that's in play at least.
We are having a recount for
okay.
some reason here, but it's okay. It looks beautiful.
It really
Split
does.
screen.
The split screen really adds a nice dimension here. It's also cool that the two players who have all the money are right next to each other because it makes it a little more likely that we're going to see some blood in the water, I would say.
Possibly. At the same point, a lot of players have a tendency when they're up a lot of money, especially as the session starts to wind down, to lock it up a little bit, play a little more conservatively. It's not crazy to do that, of course.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's kind of a unique aspect to a game like this where there's a certain amount of time that the players are playing and they're aware of it. It's not an infinite game, right? So they
Yeah,
know
right.
that they're here for the 4 hours or whatever the session is, and if there's 30 minutes left and they're up 4K, they might just say, well, maybe I just won't play ace queen off under the gun this time,
Right.
Because why would I do that?
You fold to more 3-bets, or
Yeah.
you just never make a marginal choice by putting chips in. All your marginal choices become folds.
Yeah, there are also some people who will be up a bunch of money and then start opening up, but
That's
I
true.
agree with you that especially in a timed game, it's a little more likely that people sort of lock up the win, especially when it's a win this big. I mean, how much is Timmer even in for here?
Only
1,000.
1K.
So we think he's up 5,500. Although Brittany, our dealer, is verifying the stack right now, so we're going to get an actual chip count. It's possible our software was a little
Yeah,
bit
there
wrong.
must have been some issue
We'll
with
know.
the software.
We're going to know soon. It's such a...
The damn interns and their software problems.
Yeah, the interns are... Matt, honestly...
Yeah.
They're a
Never
disaster.
hire interns from Elderly Intern Services LLC.
For multiple reasons, by
Yeah.
the way. Not just because
kinda like a
they're
flat
bad with
candidate.
technology.
They also for some reason lobby against children. They're just like an anti-children lobby. They want all children to be put in cages. So they're a bad company in general, but they also provide a bad service.
But it's good for poker though, because you know there is an age restriction here. You need to be above.
That's
true.
true.
You know,
That's
21,
true.
18, 21.
Depends on where you are.
Wow.
Sure. 21 in most places in the United
All right, let's
States.
get back to the action. Band
Okay.
feature, gonna fold. Bye-bye.
So this
it's just any
skunk,
tall
this
glass.
skunk, this deer, and this giraffe.
Rafi with the Jack 7 suited. Everyone calls him tight, but he opens
Here?
a little bit wide here.
Hey, they were suited.
Joseph
And-
with the Ace King.
Last time
They
we saw
were
Joseph
suited.
with Ace King, he just flatted, and that ended up with Digital Dan losing a ton of chips. One of the many times Digital Dan lost
Losing-
a ton of chips
yeah.
after he overflatted with 2 kings. Ended up all in against 2 queen jacks that were both straights against his top set and lost.
we look
And
like
look
we
at
could have
this.
another confrontation here.
It's 3 straight pre-flop coolers.
I swear we did not set the deck up.
This is insane.
Just to clarify.
And this is not an edited show. As you saw, we
Right.
watched as the chips were counted out for about 4 minutes there. Like,
which we would not have done if it was edited, by
Right.
the way.
very reasonable to 4-bet here.
Raise 300 total.
There it is. Makes a lot of sense.
And by the way, this
And
is a
Tim
very
has Ace King.
Look at the
and look
pain
at
on
his
Tim's
face.
face.
He's.
This is the lock it up time. He's going to lock
Let's
it
find
up.
out. Let's find out. If he folds, he's locking it up.
I mean, look
right?
at he's got to look at his face. He has to fold this hand. He's just like he's so concerned, and it's against Wonka too, the guy who
Right.
could do some real damage to his stack.
Timmer with 6.8K in his stack
Joseph
after they
actually could
verified
give.
it.
Joseph could do the most damage here. Looks like Joseph has 5K.
Oh wow!
So he
There are
cold
so-
calls the 4-bet, which I don't even know what I like doing there. It is a weird spot, but these positions allow for some wider ranges than the previous queens against aces confrontation that we saw.
And we
but
are
he's playing from.
currently-
He calls from the small blind. He's flatting from the small blind.
Yeah,
It's
it
gonna be
feels
so
like
hard to
a
get value if he
pretty
even
clear
if he hits.
5-better fold spot.
I think so.
Mostly 5-bet against Wonka's 4-betting range.
But you still have to worry about Joseph, and you have to worry about the original razor too. It's not crazy to fold.
Especially if you want to lock it up and just
Right.
be happy that you are up 5.8K.
And as you were just saying, Joseph and Wonka are the other two guys with big stacks at this table. Wonka not nearly as much actually as Joseph. Now that I see it,
And look at these percentages as well. Wonka with just a hammerlock on the hand when both of these other guys have ace king. Just wild. And poor Joseph. This is a weird spot. When you get cold 4-bet and the guy in the small blind cold calls, I mean, you're really worried about aces and kings here, I would say.
Not from Timmer, because I think Timmer's act there is genuine. Joseph folds. I wouldn't have done that. You know what I would have done? I would have 5-bet.
Yeah, I think
because
that's a
I think
5-bet
Timmer's
spot.
act is genuine. I think Timmer is folding for sure to a 5-bet,
Yeah.
and Wonka is the best candidate in the room to light 4-bet.
That's a good point.
I think you're right. I agree with you, Grant.
But Joseph might be in lock it up mode a little bit himself. He's up a pretty
Right.
penny.
Exactly. Everyone's got things to protect here.
And with Timmer's mindset, I can only imagine that this is going to go check fold. I mean, Wonka's almost certainly going to bet. It's probably going to be small, but Timmer just doesn't seem like he's in the mood to make some light call downs here.
Wonka probably just trying to get value out of 2 jacks right here, hoping it isn't 2 10s, or aces or kings.
2 10s is definitely in Timmer's range.
It is. He might just fold that sometimes when it's a cold 4-bet, but
He lets it go, and you can see the look on his face. It kind of feels like he played it poorly, I think. He feels like he should have done something different and
Yeah.
he got caught in the middle of the situation.
I think this is one of those spots where, everyone's got really good but not true monsters, and like anyone who 5-bets probably wins. But it's hard to 5-bet in this spot for anyone. It's scary.
Anyway, it dares.
Not a lot of 5-bets going on, even at 5-10. I mean,
Yeah.
and when they're all so deep, it's just you feel like once you put in that amount of money, it's even though it's maybe not a huge percentage of your stack, you just put yourself in such a compromising situation if you do get 6-bet, or even if somebody calls. You're sitting there with ace king offsuit, it just doesn't really feel that good.
Yep. So we've had 3 pre-flop coolers in a row. Can I hear a 4th? I'm ready for a 4th.
You
Bring me the
only- You only
4th.
want it to be auditory? Do you want there to be
like
a
that
visual element?
It took like a couple
No.
seconds to understand.
Auditory only.
Thank you, Matt.
Jonathan just looked at me like I was the devil.
It's not unusual.
Shout out to the audiophiles out there.
Hey,
It was
DJ.
not a cooler.
Nope, that was a.
Nope.
I'm bored now.
That was a reverse cooler. Yeah, we've hit the high of the show here.
How
I
much
think.
longer till this thing
Here we
is
go.
over?
Here's the current chip counts, just to get a sense of it. So yeah, Joseph with 5K, Timmer with 6.5. Those guys could really do some damage to each other.
Wonka also with a significant stack here.
Yeah, he could really hurt somebody too.
Nice.
Hey Siri, ring my extra.
Just a moment.
Yeah, I almost wonder if part of Tim's reaction to check folding that flop was a little bit of feeling like upstuck, like I could have just folded and
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
not put in $300 here. Ken with jacks now, though, he's getting a lot of those bigger-ish pairs.
Ken, don't 7-bet all in with jacks. Whatever you do.
Were you thinking about calling on that last one?
I think if a 5 hits this flop and there's no high cards, Ken's going to lose 2K.
Oh, yeah.
It is possible. Ken doesn't like folding anyway.
Fortunately for Ken,
Now
that's
we'll never
not the
know.
case. Yeah.
We'll never know.
Might go check here even. Ken usually bets though. I think band teacher would call once.
Do you like that call? I find myself pretty much just folding those
Yeah, I
fourth
would-
pairs on the flop most
Yeah.
of the time.
I would
but
fold, even from a distribution perspective. You have so many better hands to continue with that have less showdown value than 5s, but are better to continue with.
With more equity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, like a 9-10.
Yeah.
Even some gutters.
Even Jack
with
10.
like-
Even
Yeah.
I mean ace highs with the other card over a 5 is probably better, right? With ultimately.
That's good.
And band teacher makes the call on the river there. Thin value out of Ken,
It
but
was
I guess
cheap.
the queen pairs, it's not really that thin.
Ken has been known to make some weird thin river bets with like bottom pair and stuff at least. He is a candidate to make that call against at least. I don't know if it's always going to be profitable.
We've seen band teacher kind of make snap decisions a lot of times. Hey, chip counts again. Interns, did you forget? Oh, it's because
No. It's because Cynthia's making the sign of she wanted to make sure we understood just how deep everyone was. And Cynthia, we got it.
I need someone that
I
can
think
win.
she
Thank
just
you.
forgot that she did it before the last hand because,
Well.
Good hand against
she's 94.
She's covering up her own. Yeah.
I, for one, appreciated that additional information. Thank you, Cynthia.
Wow.
Matt,
What a
interns
suck-up.
have no power here. You're not going to get anywhere.
I'm just trying to generate clout, okay? I just got here.
The politics behind the scenes of Poker Time is so. You guys don't even know how.
It's like the Manchurian candidate.
This Vaughn guy's trying to push me out.
You named me as your heir.
Man teacher with the 3-bet with ace 10 against
This
Ken's
will
very, very loose open.
End things. Yeah, Ken, I think, is in the opposite position of Timmer, where he just lost a huge pot.
Oh, yeah.
Knows the session is going to end soon and wants to make it back.
Yeah, give himself as much chance as
Yeah.
possible.
So do you think band teacher would normally 3-bet that hand, or do you think losing the last one has anything to do with it? Because like game flow wise, I feel like it's pretty likely to see him just do that a little bit out of spite.
I think that there's definitely spite in band teacher's game. There's certainly an element of that, and I think he does kind of base his play on his current feeling every once in a while, and that could have been the case there. But I do think it's also a very reasonable 3-bet.
And I've seen him make those kinds of 3-bets at times. So it's possible that played into it, but it's possible he just felt like, Ken's opening a lot. The positions are such that this is a good 3-bet spot.
It's just better. I feel so much better having a hand like ace 7 off there, where it's so comfortable to know that you have a shit hand.
Yeah.
And it's like fold to a 4-bet and feel good instead of being like, oh, I could have called and seen a flop with a reasonable hand.
In position against
Not as
A guy who's going to blast off. Yeah.
I mean, maybe. Well, might be on tilt a little bit,
dwindled down a little bit. and,
Nice.
yeah,
Grab.
made you a small winner or a loser, right? It's not one of the two.
Trevor's got a perfect lock it up under the gun hand.
What's going on?
I will say that for a guy who got stacked like 5 minutes ago for over $3,000, Ken looks pretty cheerful to me.
Yeah.
He's a happy-go-lucky guy.
a
We
really
like
good
having
point.
him around.
Yeah, it's impressive, honestly, because I have never lost $3,000 and been smiling 5 minutes later, I don't think, in my life.
Oh, that's not accurate. What that
Cynthia.
just said.
It's fine.
She just fell asleep on the keyboard.
This is what you get when you have not nanogenarians being your your software and camera people and all that stuff. It's fine. I will say, actually, this group, not just this group, but the Poker Time pool of players takes losses pretty well as a whole. Like, they are
Generally.
pretty smiley and calm and hang in there.
Wonka with ace queen here out of the big blind.
Just
Just
calls.
calls. I would think that would be a pretty good squeeze spot.
Especially the offsuit nature of it. Even
Yeah.
more so.
Especially with band teacher opening, he's been a little bit loose. Oh, nobody really flops anything.
There's some gutters. If the ace high gutter comes in for Wonka, Joseph's going to make a better straight.
It's not going to be a huge pop, but yeah, he'll lose a little bit.
Yeah, you're right. It can't be too big because there's too many people in this pot. Joseph in the small blind has sixes for sure.
The queen comes.
Great
and
card
that's,
for
That's
Wonka.
the ultimate card for
Ace,
this hand.
queen hits the turn. Wonka's going to get at least
Rafi
at
and
least
wheel.
Probably 2 bets in.
Look at
against
this.
least one guy.
Somehow four-handed, he has 76% equity. That's pretty sweet.
They're actually five-handed.
with just one pair.
Five-handed.
Five-handed, excuse me. Four
Incredible.
opponents.
Yeah. Wheel's going to have to call.
It's kind of a weird spot for Rafi now.
I think Rafi just has to call, though,
If he had
doesn't he?
queen 10, it might be a little closer to a fold.
Yeah.
But
If they were flipped, this would make more sense as a fold. Like if the queen jack was the first call, you could
Yes.
probably just fold the queen 9.
Yeah,
but I
agreed.
agree that queen jack, you just beat too many other queens here.
Yep.
And Wonka could also just be taking a stab. He wasn't the original opener.
The
He would
board's all
check his
over.
whole range on the flop. So
Well, now Wonka has it on lockdown, and Joseph would have gotten maybe a bet out of Wonka.
But this
Yeah.
is also probably going to kill his action. It may be one of the worst cards for him that doesn't actually.
He should probably
Make him the
just
non-winner.
check here. I think checking might be the play.
It's going to be so hard to get called. I like this. It's so hard to get called by hands he's beating. Not that he really even expects these guys to bluff, but
Sure, but at the same time, other better hands are out there.
Yep.
In such a multi-way pot, like you said.
Actions to me. Yeah, yeah.
I don't think the check is ever to get a worse hand to
yeah, it's
bet per se.
it's just control the pot against the 6.
And it checks around. Makes a lot of sense for everybody's exact holdings. I think
Yep.
this was played pretty well by everybody in this hand.
Yeah.
Agreed. Wonka's
You
up
see how,
now.
you see how Wheel turned his hand over super fast like a hot potato, like hoping it's good. He's like, maybe if I turn it over faster, it'll be good. Maybe I'll win.
If he turns it over confidently enough, he might get someone else to fold.
Well,
This happens.
It's show first win. That's how it works here on Poker Time.
That's a whole different thing. That's like
That's a cool game.
that's like the unseen element of Jeopardy about like how you have to buzz in really correctly.
All that dead money out there.
So Wonka's now up to 4.2K, so he can take a little more of a chunk out of like Joseph and Timur and
That
stuff.
That was the nit of the night move right there.
Always fun.
That was the nit of the night.
I want somebody to take a chunk out of somebody. I don't really care who.
I just love how deep these guys are. It makes it fun,
Matt, you want some more blood? You've already seen so much blood.
both clubs. Or
I want more. I mean, I am insatiable.
You're like the Emperor from Gladiator.
I felt dirty.
He was the bad guy, by the way.
I felt dirty.
Just in case you weren't clear. The Emperor in every movie is the bad guy.
On that one,
What about
Not
Star
every
Wars?
movie. wait now. Explain yourself.
Well, first of all, he's just trying to create a cohesive republic
Yeah.
where there's the rule of law. There's not all these outlaws like Han Solo calling, saying that parsecs is a measure of speed. Of course, that's a measure of distance, Han Solo. The Emperor knows that.
Make sure it's good thing you got that totally useless fact. They're making your
No,
point.
no. You know what? He's making some good points here. I'm starting to come around to this Emperor guy.
The rebels are terrorists, obviously.
I mean,
Well, we all knew that.
to have a tree of liberty, you always have to prune a few branches, don't you?
They blew up a multi-billion-dollar
Trillion-dollar
government
probably.
item.
Facility, not
Yeah.
item.
It's
Come on.
both
Nodding out of
things.
the big blind after-
Wonka here with Ace Queen once again, facing a very small raise and call. I imagine
It's
he
a
will
blind
3-bet
raise.
here.
Yeah,
That
Ben
Oh, it's
Teacher
a
has
blind
made
raise.
a blind raise
Ah,
because
yes.
you can't straddle here on Poker Time.
Matt Vaughan probably doesn't know that, even though he's played on Poker Time in the past.
Womp womp.
90 total.
And there's Wonka pulling the trigger.
Definitely a little easier when it's a blind raise and effectively a limp.
Yeah, it's kind of mandatory.
Not one to fold dark bets.
And band teacher, as he says.
I mean, one doesn't really just put in a blind bet and then fold to a single following raise.
There's a lot of that.
My 20.
I didn't put those 20 out there blind to then fold for an additional 70. I don't know
Now
about
that
you
I
guys.
can see.
But
Yeah.
I love.
Now, I've never seen this movie, but I'm imagining that in The Emperor's
Wow.
New Groove, the Emperor is a good guy.
Nope.
he's
Nah.
sort of an anti-hero.
He's a bad guy too. Everyone's a bad guy. So Wheel just limp folded King Jack.
That is
off
very strange.
to one raise when he was closing the action.
I mean, how does Wonka do it? How does he just raise Ace Queen, get King Jack to fold, and get action from 7-4?
I have no
offsuit?
idea.
And then get the Queen High drive flop. That's pretty good. He keeps flopping really well.
There
And
is
he
a
checks it
there is a
back.
flush draw out there, but it's almost like he knows Band Teacher is just going to be so wide here, and he does hold the Ace of Hearts, so I think that's a very reasonable check back on this board.
Band Teacher could have got himself in some trouble on that card for sure. Could have decided to start betting, and he just refuses to, though.
I think Wonka's going to start betting now because he's
Has
going
to.
to want Band Teacher to have a showdownable hand that puts Wonka on the sole ace of hearts.
Or just that Band Teacher has a heart and makes a play on this.
Right, Band Teacher could also just have a somewhat showdownable hand with a good heart, and then Wonka's definitely missing value if he checks back turns, so I like his play there.
Me too.
Those dark bets are really.
His hand is basically impenetrable, like never folding.
You mean like the Death Star was impenetrable?
There's always ways to get to those things.
It's 160.
It's a Force Awakens reference, guys.
That means something.
In case you're wondering.
Yeah. Just
Obviously.
one of the terrible ones. It's fine, though.
Oh my God, we're not doing this because that will take up the rest of the show.
All right. Concede.
Looks like we got Bill coming in.
Okay.
He's played on Poker Time before.
He sure has.
He stacks his chips in sizes that tilt me.
Yes, often 10.
Wait,
stacks
so
of
just
10.
to clarify, what would be a size that would tilt you? Would 9 tilt you?
Anything that's not 20 or more tilts me, basically.
Oh, okay. So 21
20
would
or
not
more?
tilt you?
So
20
35 doesn't tell
23.
you?
I mean, it's
27.
what tilts me the most is when it's a lot of small stacks.
Yeah.
I guess
68.
68 is perfect.
Gut shot for Rafi. Nothing
This is
for
a-
anyone else.
This is a stupid flop.
Timmer, of
Nobody
course, still
cares.
has the best hand. Rafi was the original opener with the 8-6 of clubs. Once again, proving, I guess, double gutter for Rafi, actually. I said gut shot.
Yeah, it's like it's
not a good double
a double
gutter.
gutter that you don't really want to hit the one end of the gutter.
I mean, you don't want to, but you'll take it if you have 8 high otherwise, right?
Locking who down?
Rafi, by the way, is one of the best Scrabble players in the United States of America.
Wow.
Yeah, 7th, something like that.
Yep, I think 6th. He knows all the words, and when I say that, I actually mean he actually knows all the words.
In the Scrabble dictionary.
And not in the Scrabble
I
dictionary.
mean,
He does. It's true.
I feel like you're kind of downplaying it.
Well,
he
I'm
knows
not.
every word. Oh, but just in the Scrabble dictionary.
No,
You know,
I mean
let's not
that's
get carried
that's a
away
lot of
here,
words.
guys.
But I'm saying, if you find a word that's a real word that's outside the Scrabble dictionary, he's gonna be like, "What did you just say?"
The Scrabble dictionary, by the way, a little overrated in terms of depth and size. I mean, it's like basically a pamphlet. It's the Scrabble pamphlet.
Also, being 6th in the U.S. in Scrabble, a little overrated. Like being
Yeah.
5th, come talk to me. 6th, eh.
I mean, how many guys are even rated? Like 7, 8? I mean,
who
cool.
cares?
You're better than you're in the bottom 25%. Congrats.
Rafi. Rafi deserved to that.
You think he looks like Mark Zuckerberg? I think he looks a little like Mark Zuckerberg.
No.
I'm asking Matt. He's new. There.
No.
You're crazy. What's wrong with you?
That's just your move, huh? Somebody disagrees with you, you question their mental acuity.
What's wrong with you?
The answer is yes. That's what he does.
What's wrong with me is that I got you as a damn partner.
Wow. Well, Matt Vaughan's here.
I'm here. I'm
Feel
ready.
free to stab me in the heart and have Matt Vaughn replace me. It's fine.
That'd be-
We know there's some people out there who would like it.
I've heard tell
Yeah.
that this could be coming along. Back channels.
Band teacher.
What?
Not really. Not really. Not really.
Wins.
We're staging a coup, okay, guys? Don't
Yeah.
tell Jonathan.
Band teacher with top hair wins easily.
Remember the second hand of the night or whatever?
What was it?
Still got about a half hour left in this overall session.
Bandy crushed up.
Appreciate Wonka coughing directly into the mic every time. I love how he does that.
Yeah.
You know he's up.
Well,
He's feeling good.
Where else is he supposed to cough? Where would you prefer?
I guess it gives him a nice target.
Yeah. Yeah.
He could
You
maybe.
want him to cough into like Timmer's face? Is that what you want?
That would actually be great.
Is
TV.
that what you want?
If it created a conflict, that would be great.
They are pretty deep, so that could be the start of some good stuff. Let's get some damn coolers going here.
You got spoiled with those first three hands.
I think this is like as deep as we've ever been with multiple players on Poker Time, though.
Perhaps it's close at least.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Joseph raising it up to 40 with the pocket fives under the gun. I can get behind it.
Band teacher. What do you? Can
He
you get
really
behind
likes
that?
7-4. I can't get behind that. It is suited, but at least
It's
three
on the
bet it.
button.
At least three
At least
bet
it's
it.
on the button.
No, at least three bet it.
Rafi's got a very easy decision in the big blind here.
Yes, he does.
And
Spades would be
do
a
they
problem for
both
Band
have
teacher.
spades? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not going to be good. But
Gut shot for Bandy.
And Rafi.
And Rafi.
355 was my low point.
The 5 would be a monstrous card for this hand.
yes, do it. 5.
Top pair for Rafi.
This is probably just gonna go bet fold fold. It's my guess.
Someone could decide to make a play, but it seems unlikely.
Seems really unlikely with these exact hands. Joseph has a hand that has some showdown value. It's unlikely he would try to turn it into a bluff. Band teacher just doesn't seem like the guy to me.
He can be, but, you know.
Just over 14K in the pot. The turn is the 4 of diamonds.
Hey, what is that? Speaking of turn, coming around the mountain? Is
Oh.
that the Nitrogen Sports Poker train?
I think they did buy a train recently.
If you listen, you can hear its very familiar jingle. And choo-choo. Wait, there's the jingle. Nitro, nitro, nitro. Nitro, nitro, nitro.
Wow, that's the weirdest ad ever. All of a sudden. Anyway, Nitrogen Sports Poker Room is, they let us do ads like this.
They
perhaps
do.
because they don't listen to them.
Free reign, baby. Nitro, nitro, nitro. Nitro, nitro, nitro.
Sorry you didn't get to be in that commercial, Matt, because it's the best commercial ever made.
Well, I really think we should look at redoing it because I think I could really make a good Jonathan there.
I think that if we
Around the
just,
poker mountain.
yeah,
Choo choo.
yeah, that sounds pretty good.
That actually was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, hey.
Actually, I'm the one who says choo-choo, though.
Damn it.
I don't know, would your face fit well on the front of the train? That's the real question I have.
They
'cause
can stretch it. They have the technology.
Coolio.
Yeah, that would be the limiting factor.
Coolio.
Yeah, I said it. He's an artist.
That's a thing people say.
Gangster's
music artist.
Paradise. Does he have other songs besides Gangster's Paradise?
Probably.
That you know of?
He was in a movie.
Which movie?
Can't remember. It wasn't Heat.
That barely counts.
It wasn't Heat?
It was there was
We've limited our options now. It's not Heat. It's probably not.
the guy who sang Funky Cole Medina was in Heat. What was his name? Funky Cole Medina. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know who that was.
No?
I know what song it is. I just don't know who
Yeah.
the artist
That was
is.
that wasn't even his most popular song. Wild Thing. That was his. She liked to do the wild thing. You know what I'm talking about, guys? No? I'm getting blank looks over here.
You're about to set off all the crickets in the greater Portland area here.
Ouch.
Yeah,
I needed to buy them from
if it needed to be said.
Right off the street and taking shots, huh?
He heard he wasn't getting paid. He's like, you know what? I'll say whatever I
I'm
want.
so over this. I'm not leaving yet, but I'm so over this.
Joseph just flatting out of the small blind. Ben Teacher's been opening a lot. It would have been very reasonable to 3-bet and get called by a lot of bad hands, as we've seen.
It's classic Joseph, though, with these bigger medium pairs, jacks and tens, to just flat.
Yeah, that's true.
Oof, out of the small blind too.
Classic Joseph. Band teacher takes a shot. It's not going to work.
He's got a backdoor draw. It's not a good one.
That's true. Well,
Now
he's got that,
we'll
too.
You
That
had
works.
the front door pair draw. You
Well,
guys
Joseph
always
does-
forget the front door pair draw.
We don't always forget it. You just think that because
No.
you don't watch enough poker time. Anyway, Joseph has the 10 of hearts. I don't think he can fold.
No, he's got a pair and a flush draw. Pretty good
Especially
one.
to this size. I mean, Band Teacher's using some pretty small sizes.
Yeah. This feels like a super easy call. I hope he doesn't bet the river if we
But
don't
Joseph
improve.
has that thinking face, so
Joseph will make folds that are not
Hey,
normal.
there
And
he
there we go.
goes.
He's just afraid. I think he's beaten both ways, but it's possible he's, got the worst hand and the worst draw.
It is possible. It's probably a call most of the time, but
Tim.
he avoids a tricky spot on the river a lot of the time.
Yeah. Honestly, if he could see the hands, he probably wouldn't call because he figures he can't get any more value out of a hard coming
Right, and
anyway.
he's not getting the right price.
Almost
with
the
one
right
card.
price, but not.
Yeah,
So I guess it's a good fold.
sorta.
I would
mean,
never make it.
Not
but-
against
but
range.
it might be a
It's
good
fold
fold.
against the exact hand, not
Yeah.
against range.
Yeah.
3-6 still beats 2 pair.
9-7
wow.
hearts.
Insightful comments as well from Joseph. 3 6s still beats 2 pair.
I mean, he's right. So
That's-
maybe you should lay off. Joseph's been on Poker Time many times.
Yeah,
You've only
who
been
are
on it
you?
Once.
My gosh.
I don't,
This
you,
kid
should,
thinks-
you should be asking yourself that question because you're the one who just pulled me off
This
the
is
street
reminding
here.
me why we hire the elderly interns because
Exactly.
they show respect.
Wow.
And when we yell at them, they just fall asleep and they don't talk back.
Is your nickname Matt the Mouth Vaughn? Because
Oh,
you're so
no.
freaking mouthy.
No, I think that honorary title is taken,
Yeah.
and I would prefer not to snatch it.
You don't want to be associated with that.
No comment.
You don't have
So
you don't
many
even have
things
the
I wanna
balls
say.
to say you don't want to be associated with Mike Matisow. Show some balls, Vaughn.
What's your
I don't
favorite
wanna
thing
be
about Mike
associated with
Matisow?
Yeah, say a good thing about him.
My favorite thing?
Yeah.
Wow, this is bad. This was the worst thing you could have asked. Let's get back to the action here.
If I bet here and then you comment the deuce, that'd be pretty bad.
Joseph has the winning hand here.
I guess he's considering
talking
betting.
it out, trying to decide whether to bet or not. I'm unclear if he wants to.
He is going for very thin value here. It's interesting.
Value? He bets $20 with. I guess you're right. He's trying to get called by ace high.
With that sizing and with his
It
like
is.
little
And look
speech
at
and
this, it
stuff,
might
I would
work.
love to see Wonka check raise.
Yeah,
Because I don't really think Joseph's gonna value bet a worse hand
I agree.
than Wonka's, and it's almost never a bluff.
When it's 20.
Or I'm trying to get you to fold. I don't know what you fold here. It's $20. You can't fold anything. Probably got to call with like queen high.
This is the longest tank for a pot this size we've ever had.
Especially for two guys who've got
Yeah.
almost 5,000 or over 4K in front of him. Wonka does find the fold, though.
I really
It's
like.
too transparent.
I really liked how Joseph said you really have to call with queen high, because in actuality he wants him to call with ace high.
Yeah. So, okay, back to you and Mike Mattis. So what's the thing you think Mike Mattis has done that's most shameful?
Wow. I mean, you really just went for it there, huh?
I mean, don't you have opinions? I don't understand. How can you do this job?
Matt, can you please stay for the audience, just for the sake of like the audience, because they don't know you that well, your entire political platform, including very specific views on controversial issues?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's pretty much my whole YouTube channel, if you want to go check it out. It's just
That's
me
right.
stating controversial opinions about politics.
Yeah, if you guys actually don't know, we mentioned Matt's a vlogger. He has his own YouTube channel. It is Matt Vaughan.
With an A after the GH, because it's spelled weird. I don't know. It's got some sort of issue.
It's his fault.
It's I was just born that way, but it's
Hey,
my fault.
Wonka has aces.
Hey, look at that. We got. Maybe you'll get a cooler. Maybe if Timmer wakes up with something, you'll get a cooler.
Timmer
Matt.
needs to have kings, and then we have something fun. Wonka's probably just going to 4-bet this one. Almost always here.
Oh, he goes for the recheck.
10 seconds. Okay, raise, make it 260 total.
Wonka, by the way, in case you guys don't remember, is out of time cards, so he only ever has 30 seconds to act.
Oh,
So that could play into some of these spots down the road.
He got pretty close there. What if he?
I know.
Well, if he states raise, he says the word raise to make sure that it's at least a min raise. So if he states
Yes.
raise and then he runs out of time, it's a min raise.
That's
if
right.
he doesn't announce an amount or put out an amount.
And of course, he can see the clock. The clock is on the table. It's hard for us to see with our camera angles, but it's available to him, so he always knows where he's at.
Rafi
with
may
that.
be considering a 5-bet here.
It must be. I
You
don't think he's ever going to call
just,
here.
You don't think he's just saving some face here?
No, I don't think Rafi's that type of guy, actually. I think he is considering a 5-bet because Wonka has been mixing it up
Oh, but he
with
lets it
pre-flop re-raises quite a bit so far.
Yeah.
But luckily for him, he doesn't pull the trigger there.
He had a reasonable hand to 5-bet, and then he had the nice ace blocker, but
Yeah.
would have been a bad time.
Things just keep going Wonka's way this episode.
Yeah,
I mean, not as much as they went Timmer's way just in that one hand, but so far pretty good.
I mean, that was a big hand, guys.
No kidding.
That was a $6,200 pot.
64.
More than that. $6,400
64, yeah.
pot. All in pre-flop.
One of the
guys.
bigger hands we've ever had.
That was cray.
Must be
Oh, if I ran out of
nice.
time?
I could go for
If I, like,
a
said
$6,400
raise before
pot
the time,
going my way.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
That sounds reasonable.
Yet to hear from Bill. Wonka's probably going to open this, yeah.
Absolutely.
Very pretty hand when it's full of G on the button. We get. First, I thought that was Ken's hand.
Me and my Nemeris.
Oh, Ken's defending with a reasonable king 8.
What a flop for Wonka. Things just keep going the Wonka way.
And this is going to be a pretty boring one, though. As much as Wonka is connected with this board, that is as little as Ken has connected.
Yeah.
Boring.
You know what, Matt?
I want some blood.
Maybe set up your own RFID table. You know, get all the technology, get the software, learn the software, position the cameras, figure out exactly how to make sure all of the camera settings are right. Then maybe you can complain about boring poker, Matt.
Also, you've been here for like 35 minutes. We've seen incredible amounts of blood.
Yeah.
Amazing amounts of blood for 35 minutes.
I just want a little more.
I understand. Well, we still have time. Like 20 minutes left.
If Dan,
It's possible.
Dan said he had,
With people, right?
yeah.
You're right.
Oh, people tattoo. My butterfly doesn't count.
Oh, we're back to tattoos again.
Not
Joseph with tens.
Butterfly.
He's going to limp. He does this a lot with these very good hands. Jacks and tens especially.
Don't make fun of Britt.
I think Bill is.
Bill's going to play. He's finally getting involved.
Wants to get in the mix.
Wait. No, he's
Oh.
not. Too much. Wonka again with a big hand. This time ace king.
Well, I imagine, based on history, Joseph's just going to call.
Yeah.
Timur has jacks.
Oh,
Hey.
there we go.
You asked for blood, you got
Here
it.
we go.
We'll see.
It
We'll see how he plays
doesn't
this
have
stuff.
to be much blood.
Yeah, he can just call here, or he can put in the raise.
And
usually
if
a raise
he
would
does
be,
3-bet, it's probably just going to be a 3-bet pot anyway, but he does just decide to call. So
So
we'll
no-
have to
not
wait
so
for the
much blood.
blood until the ace jack 10 board.
Yep. Now Joseph could have put in a raise right there, also, but chooses not to, and
There's some interesting flops for these hands.
no doubt.
That is one of them for Band Teacher and for Wonka.
Yes.
Band Teacher
Teacher's
is
going to lose some money here.
He could lose his whole stack. Probably not, but
Probably not. He's a thoughtful player. I'd be surprised if he loses all of it, but it's not impossible.
let's see if Wonka bets or checks here. He
He's
has
crushing the board.
Pretty crush. He does check and just hopes that Timur has an ace he can bet, mostly.
I'm
Timur has an
checking
easy
it. I
check
think that's
with
a
a
pretty
jack.
good check there.
Ooh.
That is a super sick card.
Okay, so we have trips against second nut full house against the bottom full house now with Timur's jacks full.
And the worst of the three hands now betting. We understand why, of course, but
A lot of hands to get value from here.
Band
if you're
Teacher's going to bet.
Band Teacher. Joseph has a gut shot, but I can't imagine him sticking
No
around.
chance he's calling.
Wonka will probably just call, is my best guess.
Again, he's just crushing the board so hard. He can always put in a raise later.
Also,
I
the
don't-
story looks exactly like a flopped full house as
Yes.
he raises now.
Looks like ace ace or ace king. Or even king king.
The question is, what will Timur do when it gets to him?
If
he's gotta
Wonka just
raise.
calls, he's probably going to raise, right?
Yeah,
It
Timur,
makes sense.
This is kind of a must
I would
raise
raise.
spot. What would you do, Matt?
I would definitely raise the Timur's spot. It's just very unlucky that it went out exactly this way.
Yeah.
And frankly, that it was a single raise pot. I mean, the fact that it's a single raise pot really changes what most people will think everyone can have in this hand. Wonka, in most people's minds, at least in my mind, would have been the only guy who can even have aces, kings, ace, king, jacks.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a
and
good
he
point.
might be the only guy, but he does happen to have that.
Wonka, as Timur raises, immediately Band Teacher folds.
That's a good fold.
That's a fantastic
Yeah,
fold.
he's thoughtful.
I think a lot of players would just lose a bunch there.
And
Look
Timur
at
is
this.
so confident, offers Wonka a time card. He's like, oh, I got the best hand, buddy. I got you.
Wow.
Very generous at this table.
Wonka's just loving this because he knows Timur never has aces full.
Oh, yeah. I mean, or if he does, there's one combo and he almost never is going to show up with it. You're right.
Timur's going to 3-bet that pre-flop.
Almost
He's going to
always.
protect his
Yeah,
hand.
I agree. So Wonka's just thinking to raise now or later. I think he should just raise now. There we go.
Makes it 860.
Now,
And
these
now
guys are deep still.
Timur's got to be worried now.
He should be
There
worried.
should be some alarm bells here.
This
for
should
sure.
be just a call and like figure it out on the
Yeah.
river spot.
I think it's a pretty clear call, though. I don't think he can just throw it away, right?
No, because I do think, again, it being a single raise pot, Wonka can definitely have just the king, queens of the world here. And there's enough combos of them that you can absolutely call. But anything beyond that is just... Oh,
Who
my
moves
God!
in? And Wonka, of course, is going to call. He's just going to take a
Wonka
second
takes
to
a
make
moment.
sure it's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
there's the
says call. Oh, Timur.
Devastation. Timur's drawing to 1 out.
Oh, my goodness. And now that is the biggest hand in the history of poker time.
$9,000 pot just happened.
I regret it. I regret asking for the blood. It was too much.
Oh, my goodness.
Holy crap. All right, so
Look
that's...
at Timur. Look at Timur.
And look at Wonka.
Wonka
He's like,
just
I
trying
can't
to-
believe what just happened.
I mean, I kind of can't believe what just happened. I can't believe that Timur decided to move in there.
No, me
What is
either.
he hoping to get called by? The next pip
Queen
down
10.
is Queen 10, and Wonka's absolutely folding Queen 10.
100%
and
of
I do
the
not
time.
think he's 3-betting it.
He's certainly folding it. I don't know if he's 3-betting it either, but he's certainly folding to the shove. You can't get value with jacks there by shoving there. I agree.
That's
Oh,
definitely
that's
another
And it was
devastating.
for so much more money. It was for
Yeah.
another 3.8K.
Yeah, 860, and then the jam was for, like 4 whatever effective. That's insane.
Yeah, it was 4.5, a little less than 4.5 went in each way there. I mean,
And almost all of it went in on the turn. It was
yes.
check flop.
It was
And
like
Timur-
4.2 each went in on the turn or something
And
like that.
what an incredibly good decision in the end for Wonka to check the flop.
Yeah.
What a difference that makes in his
Absolutely.
night.
Absolutely.
That is not only the biggest pot in Poker Time history. If this holds, Wonka will be the biggest winner in one session of Poker Time in
Yes.
Poker Time history.
Yes, right now he is currently.
Up $7,500.
I think this is the most anyone's ever even been up in Poker Time in any of our sessions.
Yeah.
The sessions are always just 4 hours long, so. But I don't think everyone's been up 70.
And
Well, it's 6,500, right? He'd be up. He bought it for 24.
I think he bought it for
15.
1,500,
He bought it for
yeah.
15. You're right. 75. Again, look at the pain on Timmer's face. Ooh.
You just let him get there with the 2
I don't know if Timmer thinks he got band teacher.
Let him get there for the 2 outs.
It's true. If Wonka bets anything on that flop, Timmer's almost certainly folding. He makes the check.
Wonka was
hits the
going to win
miracle.
a decent pot either way because band teacher was going to
Yes.
stick around then for probably until the river, but obviously he would have not doubled up.
No. Band teacher at most would have gone call at absolute most.
And Timmer redefining the poker roller coaster here.
Yes.
$300 some up to, what did he have in front of him?
6,400.
6,800, something like that.
He still has a fair amount in front of him.
He still has a fair amount, but I mean, that swing was
Yeah.
crazy.
He's
You
still
just
a
gotta
winner
take
on the day.
If you're Timmer and you made that what I consider a mistake, you got to take a step back and realize you're still up on the day, like Jonathan just said. Just take a deep breath and try not to just go nuts.
The thing you have to think about, and it's really hard to do, but this is true with tournaments, so you got to think, if I knew blind to all the action before I started playing, I was going to be up this much, would I be happy? And the answer is yes. So then you got to try and talk yourself into feeling happy anyway. But it's
It's
hard,
pretty tough in
It's
this
a hard
moment.
road to actually do that.
All right, let's see if Wonka's reeling enough to just fold this and just be like, okay, I just need a moment.
I'm going to go with no.
Now, Wonka's a professional. He's not going to do that.
Yeah, he's going to call. He plays his range. That's that. See the way he just shook his head like, I can't believe this. This is just insane. And indeed it is, Wonka.
I mean, how many, like 9K pots are you going to win at 510?
Not many. And
Almost
what an
zero.
insane parlay that not only you check the flop, the other guy makes the full house, and then the other guy decides to 4-bet shove bottom
Yes.
full house against you. That's a tough parlay.
Rafi here gets the a bit of a cooler flop.
Yeah.
Wonka's
And
gonna
checks
lose a little bit
it.
here,
And
but-
checks it to Wonka. Interesting.
It's a coordinated board.
I understand. But,
Wonka has
it's
a pretty
also-
clear bet.
Yep.
He's gonna. I imagine Rafi's checking this to just check call,
Agreed.
and it'll probably just be 2 streets of check call. I would assume. I mean, kind of depends on the run out, but I don't think Wonka's gonna often go for 3 when the pre-flop raiser, check calls a couple of times.
And if it runs out 2 black deuces, though,
Yeah.
he could try and get value from jacks and tens, repping misdraws.
He could. I think I'm more on Matt's side here and think that it's really tough to get 3 streets with this hand on this board.
Because you're really targeting Queen Jack, Queen 10, Jacks and 10s, and not a whole lot else.
Not much else.
There are some slow
Maybe-
plays as well in Rafi's range, for sure.
Of course.
I would be shocked
maybe
if I
ace-9
saw.
suited.
I would be shocked if I saw 3 barrels out of Wonka here.
So I'm saying the potential.
Well, here's number 2.
Like I'm gonna get hurt.
I think Rafi's going to call.
Pretty
and
small bet here.
Rafi might just lead the river.
He could actually be
this-
betting small to go for 3 streets. Actually, that's
Yeah.
definitely
That's
possible.
true. That's true with the sizing.
We will call. Also, you're going to need a clean river for any of this to happen.
That's a
Well,
pretty clean river.
it's about
That's
as
a
clean as it
Pretty
gets.
darn clean river. 10-7 gets there. That's it. 5-7 of diamonds gets there.
I don't know Rafi as a player, but I suspect 10-7 and 7-5
No.
of diamonds aren't in there a whole lot often. And
No, I
7-5
I
of
mean-
diamonds is probably check raising flop anyway.
And this
No, I mean
is a
Wonka
lead.
having those
Oh,
hands.
sure.
This is a lead from Rafi.
Small though, right?
250.
250. Okay, it's a reasonable size.
Wonka's face makes a lot of sense there. It's a very strange line from Rafi.
Super strange. I don't
It
know how I
feels-
do anything but call, but it
honestly
feels.
feels kind of nutted to me. Like I feel like Rafi, if he was slow playing, he has that plan, and he's worried about not getting value on the river when Wonka bets so small on the turn, and then he just decides to lead. But Wonka trying to piece it together. He does take that last time extension given to him by Timmer, which is sort of brutal when he wins
Yeah.
like a 9K
Yeah.
pot off
At
of
least
him.
Timmer wasn't looking. Timmer was looking the other
Did
way.
he take it out of Timmer's?
No, Timmer
actually did
Timmer
give it
gave,
to him.
He gave it to him.
Okay.
I mean, it's questionable if that was a real give or
Yeah,
not.
it seemed like a joke to me, but anyway.
But
it's
Wonka's used it and it's been allowed.
It's yeah.
Right.
So-
Timmer was sort of not even paying attention though, so Timmer doesn't know.
Timmer doesn't care. He's just trying not to freak out.
Anyway, Rafi doesn't mind him taking this time anyway. Rafi probably wants him to. He'd probably fold. And there's the call. It's a reasonable call for sure.
Yeah, Rafi's line was really weird, and when you show a good player a weird line, they're gonna react in ways that usually involve distribution.
The problem, of course, is as sort of Matt's implying, Rafi's really just not going to play draws like this, so he doesn't have any missed draws.
Yeah, the types of draws that he could have are just so few, I think, because it would just be the raw flush draws, like the ace-high flush draws that he decides not to c-bet, and then he just kind of like puts out a desperation river bet. But I don't even think it's that many combinations.
I mean, he's so much more likely to take an aggressive action before the river with
That
that
too.
kind of a hand, especially on the small turn bet.
I think especially when there's potentially 16 full combos of Jack 10, you just have the ability for Rafi to have all of them. He's just gonna have more natural slow plays on that board.
My
I
chips
could have probably folded.
My chips are too high. I guess I have to give you these extra.
I couldn't see.
Bill decides to play the 5-3. He is done folding. And
Well,
Wonka has another starting hand.
We've seen Bill be a prescriber in the past to the "I haven't played a hand for a while" theory.
I mean, I think we're seeing it right now in
Yeah.
the present.
Why do you say it like that? I mean, that's a perfectly reasonable, legitimate theory.
I think the way you're implying it makes it sound like not a reasonable theory, Matt Vaughan.
I was like, I guess I have to pay you now.
You have to learn the subtlety in this business. You got work to do, kid.
2 hearts for Wonka.
King
Nothing
for Ken.
anybody else. Oh, King. Sorry.
Nothing for
Ken.
anybody else, huh, Levy? Okay, Vaughn's in.
Yes.
Sub Vaughn in.
Suck it, Levy.
Why the number is 2 months? I feel like it was a month.
How can he fold when he's got top pair?
No, you're out. Get out of here.
That's the name of our book, though.
It's true.
How can he fold?
How can he fold? That's the name of the book. That's why I did it. It's kind of brilliant. Grant loves that. I'm back in. I'm in.
Love that
Yeah.
you slipped that little plug in there. That's good.
Yeah.
It's
on Amazon.
I can see it again.
Go to
if we're
thepokerguys.net.
gonna plug the shit out of that thing. Get used to it.
It's a really good book, Matt Vaughan.
Yeah, Matt Vaughan. Jonathan's back in.
I said it was a good plug. I didn't know the name of the book before.
Shut up, Matt Vaughan. I'm gonna use your full name because it's kind of funny. I don't know.
Wonka checks here. I guess he's just worried about a 7. Or just, I guess, you don't think you can really beat his hearts anyway.
Yeah, I mean, he could be thinking a number of things. I think on a board of this nature, Ken's not going to have a lot of natural turn give-ups once he calls flop.
Agreed.
So I kind of like the check. He'll also be ahead of some worse heart draws, so
It's
he
like
does
heart
have
draws-
some showdown value.
Heart draws, top pair, or trip 7s mostly, right? Those are. I guess he has some middling pocket pairs which he can get to fold out, but that's it.
Right.
You're right.
Ken, I think wisely checks it back. I don't think there's much value to be had with that hand.
With that no kicker
With that,
action.
yeah.
I mean,
He
3
could
pair.
get value out of queens, maybe.
3 pair though.
Maybe.
You guys,
That's the kind of stuff-
You're missing the 3rd pair.
I think
You-
he should try. I think he should be trying to get value out of queens actually in jacks there.
And I do appreciate, Jonathan, that you're ignoring Matt Vaughan as he keeps saying 3 pair over and over and over again.
I just wanted you guys to know.
You want to talk about 2 flush draws next, Matt?
Matt, you know what? You're just not suited for this.
Oh no.
Speaking of 2 flush draws, not
yeah.
suited.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought that was the
Oh, no.
joke already. No. Okay.
No, it wasn't.
It's
I had
accidental.
no idea.
Wow.
I wish
Yes.
I.
You're so good at this, you don't even know.
He has to be
when
told
you're
his own
making
jokes, but-
That's what you have to be to make it in this biz. Matt Vaughan. Band teacher with deuces. He's gonna call Ken's 9-8 off raise.
Jonathan's like one of those oracles in Minority Report, and I'm the guy who like reads the output.
Yeah.
You know. He's just
best part-
He's
the best
just
part of
making
that
it
movie?
like a pool of grimy water.
The best part of the movie is the mall scene, of course.
Anyway, there's a set for band teacher, and he's not gonna.
No
get
one
any
else
action.
has anything. Wheel's got 2 back doors, but he's gonna fold.
I feel like there's just gravity at the table from that huge pot.
Yeah.
What's
still just-
what's the second back door?
It's got it's
Yeah.
clubs. He had clubs,
No,
and he had
spade club. Spade club.
Oh, is
No,
spade club?
I thought it was queen 10 of clubs.
I'm pretty positive.
Guess what?
was
It
spade
doesn't
club.
matter.
Matt, don't you have bad vision though?
No.
Well,
I in fact do not wear glasses.
but does that mean you have good vision, or you just
Yes.
are stubborn?
He ran over 7 people on his way here. But that has nothing to do with his vision. He's just a terrible driver.
Yeah. It's. Or no, he's actually a good driver. He would have only been 5 if he was a bad
I
driver.
was aiming for all 7. I'll have you know. I did not commit any crimes on the way here. Let the record show.
You didn't even jaywalk?
Ken flatting with the ace-8 off, +2. He's aware that there's not a lot of time left. I think he's trying to get in his few hands, make some of that money back.
Yeah, these little like subtle, not quite tilt type things where you're down a lot and you just kind of want to get back in the action. I get it. I've done it.
Ken calls with a lot of
Weak aces.
weak offsuit aces and from all positions, in fairness to Ken.
And Timur flops best. Ken might.
Ken likes to call in this spot, too, a fair amount.
He should notice that Timur is pretty
Yeah,
tight
he
and
does.
going to be careful for the rest
I
of the
think
session.
that's a good fold from Ken.
Me
Yeah.
too. I mean, he had the 8 of hearts. So 2 back doors.
And Timmer, despite that massive pot that really didn't go his way, Timmer still has double what he bought in for.
I mean, that's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Go buy yourself a steak dinner in Vegas. All right, guys.
What are you
I
trying
mean,
to?
I
what
think
kind
I
of
would do
vibe
it
are you trying to
somewhere
create?
else.
I'm not sure, but it's.
What were you saying? I would get my steak dinner somewhere else.
Wow.
Wow, that's an
Matt
anti-Vegas
Vaughan.
rant.
You hate Mike Madison. You hate Las Vegas.
Well, no,
what
I
else
just
do you
said
hate?
That's what
Vegas-
we're gonna put on the thumbnail. Matt Vaughan hates Las Vegas and Mike Madison.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the major takeaway from this episode, not like the 8 billion coolers that happened.
Yeah,
This has been as cooler an episode I think as we've had at least in years, if not ever.
Yeah.
This may be the coolest episode I've seen us have.
Wheel with pocket 8s off suit.
We started, of course, with
Oh man, he did the joke with the offsuit pair. Oh god,
Yeah.
this kid's
Well,
not,
I mean-
this kid's not ready.
I wouldn't even have said it if you guys didn't think the Queen 10 was suited. I just wanted to clarify it early on.
I didn't say the Queen 10 was suited. Maybe don't lump us together.
I thought you backed me up on that, Grant.
I wasn't even paying attention to that hand.
Totally backed me up.
Hey, hey, Grant,
Yeah,
pay attention.
I can do what I want. This
Guys.
is my show.
Guys, we got 3 heart draws here.
Okay,
All right.
let's
And
see if
pocket
the hearts
eights.
come.
There is
One
a
heart.
Probably not going to be much there. They've got 6 of them locked up.
Wheel
All
with
right.
the best hand. Can't love the Queen.
I mean, this is the cooler episode, so if it's ever going to come, it's going to come right now.
That's a good point.
Running
Yeah.
hearts, let's go.
Statistics care about your opinions.
And Ken somehow bets here. It's kind of a weird time to bet, but okay.
You know,
He's got backdoors.
It might work.
How many backdoors does he have, Jonathan?
Matt, I think that statistics cares about your opinion thing was really mean.
I was glad you noticed it because it kind of got passed
I
over.
know. I was really, really mean.
Save it for the couples counseling session.
It's 2019, Grant. Calm down.
It's really weird that Ken decided to bet this. I'm being told, by the way, this is our last hand. Wonka's going to call.
Is it our last hand or is it Esther's last hand?
Well,
That's the real question.
we'll have to have the funeral. And
Wow.
a set of 8s would have come in, but both
And
these guys
also
pick up the
2
hard
flush
draws.
draws.
Wonka picks up a straight draw as well.
And Ken's going to be incentivized to keep betting now. I don't
Yeah.
know why he bet flop, but this is a good turn to bet on.
Yeah, he definitely should continue now. Wonka with the best hand and a lot of draws.
I think Wonka's going to have a pretty easy just call here. Even though he does block 2 hearts, I think the 7 is enough showdown value probably to call, especially against Ken.
Right, and you wouldn't expect Ken to fold a queen at this point, so I don't think you can have enough fold equity to justify a raise here, because if you're raising, clearly part of the plan is Ken's going to fold a better hand than mine sometimes, and it's rare for that to happen.
475.
But
he
does
does
go
raise.
for the check raise, though.
interesting. And now he might just shut out Ken's equity, which is not a horrible result.
Not bad
Yeah.
at all.
In this exact instance, this could definitely work.
One card to come, Ken is supposed to fold here. And
He does.
And Ken does make
He
what I
does,
think
and
is a pretty
that's
good
the
fold.
capper on Wonka's great adventure of a session.
$7,300 up.
Congratulations, Wonka,